For those of you who are like, all right, I want to know what was the journey to six figures. That's part of the whole reason that I introed with that, because when I was getting started, I wanted to know what was actually done. Okay. So that's why I'm sharing with you what I'm actually doing right now, because, from a standpoint of where I am right now, like the business is multiple six figures. And I know that when I first started, it would have been nice to know, like, okay, what does that process look like? So let's jump back to kind of what the start was, what happened, like where I feel like I've told my story several times, but for those of you who might not know, I'm going to touch on it just a little bit. And if you'd like to know more, if you go to LaTishaStyles.com and just click on the about, you'll kind of learn more about the story. So when I first started my coaching business, obviously the holy grail was I wanted to make six figures. And just to be clear, for six figures, we're just talking about $100,000, right? Because six figures could mean like 700,000 is also six figures. But typically, like in the coaching world and like the online business world, if someone says six figures, it's 100,000. If they say multiple six figures, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever that is. Okay. So the first thing that I wanted when I started my coaching business was I wanted to reach six figures. So I broke it down. Step one was I broke it down. Okay, how much is that per month? And I realized that was $8,333 a month, right? So that was my first goal. My first goal was, okay, I need to make $8,000 every single month, month in, month out, and I'll hit my six-figure goal. And so, but then in the back of my mind, I also had this, like, I want to have a 5-figure month, right? Like I want to make $10,000 in a month. So one of the first things that I did was after I set my goal, was I started chronicling my journey. Like I started writing down what I was actually doing. And that has been one of the most impactful things for me. And I still do it. This is my notebook where I write down. This is the one, I started this one back in June. So I go through, I write my goals. I write down like revenue goals. I write down things that I want to get done that day, and my projects that are in place and things that I'm working on, so that every time I come into the office, I feel like I'm moving forward, right? But when I first started, I didn't really have all that. The only thing I really knew was my number, right? I was like $10,000. I want to deposit $10,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $10,000 a month. Like that was my thing. So I remember recording myself, and I don't know how many of you have seen this video. I have shared it, where I recorded myself, and you know that this is a past video. Like there's no way I could create this video now, because it was before I had braces. So like my teeth were throwing up gang signs, and I was like, I'm so happy. I even spoke differently, because the way your teeth are positioned in your mouth changes the way your tongue moves. And so it changes how you sound. And I was like, I'm so happy and thankful. Like I was like spitting over my words. I'm so happy and thankful that I'm now depositing $10,000 per month for my coaching business. And I recorded that in November, I think, of 2015. And it was December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. It was 8 months later that I had my very first 5-figure month. So that was the very first month that I hit 5 figures. I hit 11,000 in that month. But a couple months prior, in April, was when I hit my first $5,000 a month. And I was saying, oh, like this is going to work. And all I have to do is keep doing more of the same thing. And how did I know what was working? Well, I was paying attention to what I was doing. Like I was writing down the things that I was doing. And so what I realized that worked for me was getting on video. Like live streaming wasn't a thing back then. Periscope hadn't even started. I didn't start doing Periscope until I think 2016-ish. But Periscope wasn't a thing. So at that time, I was just doing what I knew to do, which was to teach. I knew that I was good at teaching, and I knew that I had a skill that I could share with people. At the time, I was sharing my skills of, how I grew my blog and how I was making money growing my blog. So I would do a workshop on, for example, affiliate marketing. That was one of the first workshops that I did. And I made $282 from that workshop. And then from there, I was like, okay, well, I need to, no, this is not the video where I have the, is it? Am I wearing my braces? I might be. It's the clear. I did clear correct. So it might be that one. Oh, cool. Crystal says she just started writing everything down. Good. Yes, that's the video. So after I did my paid workshop and I made $282, I didn't say, yay, now I can go shopping. I took that money and I reinvested it back in the business. And this is where I see a lot of people like fail because they're not willing to invest, number one, but also reinvest. They think that like the business is their paycheck. And unfortunately, it's really not until you get it going. Like it's a baby. And until it learns how to walk on its own, you're going to have to carry it around or push it in a stroller, right? So I took that $282 and I reinvested it back into Facebook ads for a free workshop that I was doing. So I would do a free workshop. And then on that free workshop, I would get email addresses, start building my list. And then on the free workshop, I would pitch a paid workshop. You notice the pattern? It's like free workshop, paid workshop, free workshop, paid workshop, free workshop, paid workshop, because that's all I knew what to do. Now I have a much simpler process where I don't continually have to do free workshop, paid workshop, because I was setting up like a new landing page every single time because there were brand new ideas. I was coming up with new ideas every time. I was setting up the payment links every time. So it was a lot of work on the back end to put all this stuff in place. Now I know that there's a much easier way. I can create one free workshop that invites people into a phone call or invites them into the course, and like it's just a simple funnel. Like now I know that, but in the past I didn't know, right? This was my path to six figures. This is how I got there, right? I got there this is exactly what I did. So I took that $282 and I reinvested it into Facebook ads. How did I know how to run the ads? I didn't. So guess what I did? I went to facebook.com and I went to their blueprint course, and their blueprint course overwhelmed the heck out of me, but I still read through it and I still I tried, I did what I could. I knew that I was probably going to lose a little bit of money, just trying it out. But I just tried. I tried to do what I could. And I looked at videos on YouTube to see, if there was anything that could help me. And then I found a Facebook ads course. And what did I do? I bought the Facebook ads course because it was specific to coaches and helping coaches to, create Facebook ads. So I continued to do my my free workshop into my paid workshop. And every time I did a free workshop, I did give the options. I said, here's, where you can go to get get on the paid workshop. But also if you want to just book a call, when we have our opportunity to chat about this, here's the link where you can book a call. And I booked phone calls. So this is how I did it. This is how I got to six figures. The other thing was I got very uncomfortable. Not uncomfortable. Okay. I got out of my comfort zone. I'll put it that way. I got out of my comfort zone because I remember at the time, I had joined a local networking group. I joined the National Association of Women Business Owners in Memphis, and I started talking to people. The introvert in me is like, oh my gosh, no. But I did. I started talking to people, and I made a goal of every single time I went to a NAWBO event, I had to talk to one new person. I was not allowed to leave unless I talked to one new person. And this is actually, so side note, this is actually one of my introvert rules, because anytime I go to an event, I don't want to be there. I'm usually like, okay, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to be in my little introvert bubble. Like, this is too much. It's like, it's draining. It's a lot. And it's not social anxiety because I'm a social person. I don't mind chatting with people, but like for those of you who are introverts, you understand, like it literally just is, we gain energy from alone time. And that's really it. Like there's nothing good or bad about it. That's just how we roll. It's what we like to do. Extroverts gain energy by, you know, being around people. And as you get older, your balance of introvert extrovert energy could flip or shift. But like for me in general, when I go to an event, unless I know like one person that I'm just going to be hanging out with at the event, like we planned it, like, oh, we're going to go to this thing and we're going to hang out together. I typically, like, I'm not just going to go and like create new conversations with people, because as introverts, what the main thing we really enjoy is having meaningful conversations. And it's difficult to have a meaningful conversation with someone you just met. What do you usually talk about? You talk about the weather, you talk about like the news or like what's going on lately. And it's like, it's chit chat. It's boring. It's not interesting to us. As introverts, we really crave and desire a meaningful conversation. So that's why like networking events are usually just like, why, you know? But one of my introvert rules is that when I go to an event, I'm not allowed to leave until I speak to one new person. Just one. Tatia says, that's so true. That's me. So I cannot leave unless I speak to one person. The reason I do that is if I leave my house and go to an event, I'm not just going to walk in and walk out. As much as I want to, I'm not just going to walk in and walk out. I'm going to speak to at least one person. So what that looks like is I force myself to like go chat to one person, like say, hey, like what brought you here? And we just start talking. Typically what happens after that is I get comfortable enough to where I'm like, okay, well, I'll talk to some more people, or if I'm just really not feeling it, I'm like, okay, you're good. Like you're done, go home. And then I go home and I chill and enjoy myself. So I got out of my comfort zone. When I went to the NAWBO events, I forced myself to speak with at least one person before I left. And funny thing happened is as I continued going to the meetings, there were more and more people that I knew because I had to talk to a new person. So that means when I got there, I would see the old person that I had already spoken to, and I would say, hey, I get to see you again. And then I was like, okay, let's go find one new person. And before you knew it, like I actually enjoyed going to the NAWBO events because I knew almost everyone there. And then that actually turned into me becoming their PR and marketing chair for like 2 years straight, which I have no idea how I got roped into that, but it was a good experience, right? And then when I went to the meetings, like I felt very comfortable. So that's just a side note. If you're an introvert and you're like, I don't like going to events, but you want to make sales and actually start growing your business, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. And that's a rule that I recommend that you implement. It's really easy. Just one person, right? So I went to the NAWBO events and I happened to meet this young lady who I knew I could help. She had just started her business. She needed content. She needed marketing. She needed Facebook ads. And I was like, I've already learned Facebook ads. Like I learned it. I taught it myself. And I'm teaching other people also to do exactly what I did. She had a service-based business. And I was like, oh, this is what I did for my service-based business. I've been doing a free workshop and then a paid workshop. And then from there, I've been running ads and I've been inviting people to a phone call. I can show you how to do that. So that's how my very first program was built. And this was the genesis of what's called now You've Got Clients. That was the program that I didn't even realize that I was building at the time. And it really came from me learning things that I was doing for myself and then implementing it and teaching it to other people. For you, it might not be the marketing of your business, right? It might be like, well, you learn how to, for example, Cam, if you're still on here, you learn how to heal your heart. And now you're teaching it to other people. You're teaching them how to heal their heart, how to, overcome past traumatic experiences. Or for some of you, you learn how to, do your own branding. And now you're teaching clients how to do it. So typically that's where we are as coaches. It's like, we have mastered something and we're passionate about it. And that's where we're helping clients. So I remember I felt really uncomfortable because I actually pitched her directly. And I had never done this before, but I outright asked for the sale. I was like, hey, if this is what you need, this is what I'm teaching. And we're getting started on XYZ date. And I just chose a date. I was like, we're getting started on this date. And I was like, the investment is $33.33. I said, but if you pay in full, it'll come down to $3,000. And I'm also hosting a retreat next year. Had never hosted a retreat. I was like, I'm hosting a retreat next year and you'll get a free ticket to the retreat. So I remember and I was so nervous because I was like, I had already pitched and sold at 3,000 before, but this was my first time pitching a group program at 3,000. I thought that 3,000 was like the pricing for a one-on-one. And I was like, well, if we're in a group now, like they're not getting as much access to me. So can I still charge 3,000? But I just went for it. And she came back to me. She was like, yes, this is what I need. Like, let's go, let's do it. I definitely need ads. And it was her. And there was another client I had talked to on the phone. And I was like, okay, you ready to get started? She was like, yes, I'm ready. And so she paid $3,000. At first she did the payment plan, but then she emailed me later and she was like, hey, can I just go ahead and send you the rest? I do want to do the pay in full. So I was like, okay, I'll send you an invoice. So she paid. I had a one done for you client that I had still been working on that was paying me $2,500 a month. So it was $3K, $2,500. And then I was still earning some like affiliate income from different programs and stuff that I was an affiliate for. And that's it. That's how I hit my very first $11,000 a month. And I remember when it came through, I was like, oh, this is it. Like, I was like, I figured it out like this. And it, sometimes you have to like stop and reflect, or you won't even realize what you're actually doing that's going right. I was like, oh, this is it. I just need to do workshops. Like, I just need, if I do workshops, then I can get people on the phone. And if I get people on the phone, then we can have conversations and I can invite them to work with me. And what happens, so let me tell you exactly what happens. So the way that business works is you'll find something that's working and you'll do it and you'll do it. And you can do it up to a point until it breaks. And typically what happens is when that thing that was working breaks, that means that you've got to do something different so you can get to the next income level. So my free workshop, paid workshop continued to work until it broke. And the reason that it broke was that suddenly there wasn't enough time to do all of the workshops, plus create all of the pages, plus be on the phone and start working with clients, because now I had clients, right? So my next thing was like, okay, maybe I can just do one workshop. If I do one good workshop, then I can just send everybody to this one good workshop. And so I worked on creating one solid workshop. And from there, my process was like, let me figure out what is the best way to get people from this workshop onto a phone call. And that's how the You've Got Clients strategy evolved, because it turned into just one really good workshop. And from that one really good workshop or webinar or whatever you want to call it, from that one really good workshop, I started getting people on the phone. So then from there, I was like, okay, now let's use ads and advertising to bring people to the workshop and then get them on the phone. And then that broke. And let me tell you, after I read this, we'll talk about that. Crystal says, I just need to put my expertise out there and go for it. Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's nothing stopping you but you. And there might be some knowledge that you don't have, which is why you invest, right? To get the knowledge that you need. But as far as the action that you need to take, that's all on you. Okay, so then phase 2 was one solid workshop and getting people onto the phone. And then that broke. So why did that break? Because it required me to spend on Facebook ads to bring people onto the phone. And if your closing process is great, you're good. If you enjoy being on the phone and you're happy to take calls, you're good. But what happened for me was I had what I call, and can identify as a subconscious block. I had a block where I was like, I really don't want to be on the phone. Excuse me. And so every time I got a call, I was like secretly in the background, like, hope they cancel their call. Hope they cancel their call. I hope they no show. And so what did this do energetically? Well, energetically, it pushed people away from me. So now I was spending money on ads to get people to a phone call that I didn't even want to take. And so that whole system essentially broke. And so when that broke, I was like, okay, well, I've got to figure out a different way to scale and get to my next goal, because my next goal was multiple 5 figures in a month. And so that's when I started working on my courses and my funnels and really doing a lot of the behind the scenes work. So I went back to basics, and I started doing not free workshops, but all paid workshops. So I would do paid workshops. I would charge at the front end, and then I would turn it into a course on the back end, and then I would sell that over and over again. And so I got that working well. And so, okay, where are we in the journey to 6 figures? So we've already hit 6 figures at this point, right? So we were doing phone calls, getting people booked, already hit 6 figures. But now it's like, okay, now I want to go to multiple 6 figures. And so I started working on the systems and everything on the back end. Hello, Anshu, welcome. So I started working on the systems, everything at the back end. I started doing the paid workshops and the paid trainings and mini courses and all the things that you guys have seen me doing over the last, couple years. And then I was like, okay, I'm ready to get on the phone again, but I'm only going to get on the phone with people who have invested in themselves. So if you've bought and purchased a course or a program, like that's the people I want to get on the phone with. And I'm not doing sales calls. I never want to do a sales call again. We're going to get on the phone for a mini coaching session. And during the session, I'm actually going to help them. And then if it makes sense for them to work with me and they're the type of person that's, ready and wanting to invest in themselves, like it'll be easy. And I did that. And that was one of the best things I could have ever done. I implemented the phone calls again at the start of this year. And when I did that, I had my assistant to send out an email to tell people hey, thanks for purchasing. Here's where you can go book a call. And I started getting on calls with buyers, right? With people who had already chosen to invest in themselves. The calls were so chill. We were laughing and having a good time, and, actually helped many people on the calls. And then at the end of the call, I would suggest oh, hey, you're definitely in a good spot for, create and fill your coaching program, or you definitely you're here, you definitely you've got clients, or, you're not quite ready for such or the other. Here's some YouTube videos that I created that you should watch these first. And because it was so low pressure and so it was just a conversation, those calls actually converted at 50% into coaching programs. I got one-on-one clients, clients who were buying courses, who likely never would have done anything before, but because they had that conversation with me, it was that much easier for them to take that next step to invest in themselves again. And because they had already identified as the type of person who does invest in themselves, it made sense for me to take those calls. And so that's essentially where, I don't know if I had planned to share that, but that's essentially where my coaching business is now, where I set it up to where the calls that are booked on my calendar are booked with people who have invested in themselves. They've either taken the time to actually watch a training that is specific to a program, and they're getting on the phone to ask more about that program, or they've already purchased a program or course or whatnot, and we get on the phone so we can do a mini coaching session, and I can help them get clarity on where they are. So what does this all mean for you? Because this is all well and good, and that's kind of how I did it. But what does it all mean for you? Well, number one, it means that you should absolutely be paying attention to what you're doing now and what is actually working for you. And by what I mean by what is working is look at what is your desired outcome for the thing that you're doing. So if you are, if you're hosting workshops and you're my goal with hosting workshops is to get clients, well, what are the steps in order for someone to become a client? Do they have to get on the phone with you? If so, after a workshop, how many people are booking a call? Do they have to click and get on click your link before they can actually book a call? Well, if so, after the workshop, how many people are clicking your link? So definitely be in a position or get comfortable with tracking what you're doing. And what I'm doing is I'm pulling up my folder where I actually recorded all of this stuff. I wanted to create a case study on myself. So drop any questions that you might have in the chat while we're doing this. So this is December 1st, 2015. What I did December 1st, I took Thanksgiving off. I started to do more research in my target market and to create an ideal client avatar from the people I found on Facebook. I found a feature that allows you to invite people that have liked a status to like your page. So I invited about 10 people and I got a few new likes immediately. I will continue to use this strategy. I worked on my email freebie. I'm going to turn it into a webinar. I also need to finish the webinar I've scheduled with my friend. Between these two, I expect to bring in 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, less than 30 days. So that was December 1st. December 2nd, what I did December 2nd, I continued to post in Facebook groups. We'll ask them to join the webinar. I called an ideal client to invite her to chat about business ideas, and I added this interaction to Asana. I manifested $75. I created a landing page. So every day I was writing out what I actually did. I increased my rate for a clarity call. I finished the checklist. And this is like, I wish I could share my screen, but the way this thing works is, actually, I think I can, but it's not going to be super big. So here's here's my case study, right? So this is what I did December 1st. All right. What I did December 2nd, December 3rd. And every day I was writing out the individual things that I did. December 4th, I set a Facebook ad budget and I received 70 subscribers in one day. So finished reading The Alchemist, which was my mindset work. Purchased the book, The Secret. Anyways, the point is that that's the first thing I recommend is, start writing down and paying attention to what you're doing. Tracking, get a notebook, like write it down by hand if you need to. When you started doing just paid workshops, were they always live? Yes. I always did live paid workshops because I wanted to answer the questions for a couple reasons. I wanted to be there and answer the questions, and also because I wanted to have that conversation so I could invite them to a phone call. I definitely wanted to be live. Have you read the book Secrets of Six-Figure Women? No, I have not. What is a great platform to get people to sign up for a paid course after giving a free course? Tracking emails, connecting to Zoom webinar. So after you do a free course, so here's how I did it. After I did a free workshop, what I did from there, now this is way back when, this is not how I would do it now, but way back when I did it, after I did my free workshop, I gave people the link to purchase. So it was just a buying link. And then I would capture all of the names and emails, and then I would email them, here's where you can go to join me for the paid workshop. So it was very simple. I just said, here's the link, go to this link on this day and I'll be live. That's it. I didn't even have Zoom at the time. I was doing Google Hangouts. Very simple. The way that I would do it now is obviously I've got a lot of different systems set up and in place, but for the simplest way I would do it is a purchase inside of my shopping cart, which I use Thrive Cart. And then I would give them the link to Zoom and we would just do it live on Zoom like that. Hey, Felicia, how much do you automate? I automate a lot, which is a good and a bad, can be a good and a bad thing. And I got to get out of here soon. It can be a good and a bad thing because sometimes I forget the things that I've automated and then like I'll change something or do something new, but like other old automations are still going out. So that's why I try to keep things simple, mostly for me, so that there's not like random text messages and things going out. So as far as automation, I automate almost everything. The only thing that I don't automate is the actual like fulfillment of working with clients. Like I'm there. I'm reviewing stuff. I'm having conversations. If a client contacts me, I'm the one responding back. I don't have like a team member or anything doing that. But for everything else, I try to automate as much as possible. Other questions? Do we have six-figure coaches in here already, or everyone trying to get to six figures? Here's what I have for you if you are trying to get to six figures. I actually, I'm super excited about this. I have a new, it's not technically a new program because it's based on the best parts of the programs that I already have, but I'm restructuring it and I'm creating a bigger container, because what I've realized is that you can get to six figures in 12 months, but you can also get there in 3 months. Like I have clients who they finished working with me. We pulled together a lot of the pieces that they have, and then they went on to make like multiple 5 figures in a couple launches. I have one client that I'm thinking of right now in particular. She made $20,000 in the span of 6 months, and she was brand new. Like she had just started her coaching business. She packed her group coaching program a couple times. She's got a waiting list for the next year. Like she's going to be at 6 figures in 2021, no doubt. So I'm kind of restructuring some of the programs to pull out, okay, what are the best things that I worked on with her that we can put in this, and like based on this other program and what clients have been able to do, like what are the best things from here? And I'm putting it in this like one solid start to finish 12-month container that I'm very, very excited about. So if you are, oh, well, hello. This is, Crown Credit using my son's phone saying that you're at 6 figures because of me. Well, I'm very excited to hear that, and congratulations. Hey there, Princess Dior. I saw that you booked a call, so I'm excited to chat with you. Nice. Okay, well, there you go. You can get there in 1 month. So it's possible people have done it. So here's what I have for you. If that's something that you'd like, I would love to hop on a 15-minute chat with you. So what I've been doing is essentially like 15-minute coffee chats. And this is one that I just had with Sarah earlier this morning. And during this call, it's like a mini coaching session. So it's an opportunity for me to look at where you are right now and where you want to go. And then I'll provide you essentially your next best steps. Sometimes those next best steps are, hey, like, let me help you. I can, fast track you and let's work together in this program. And if that's the next best step, then we'll, schedule another call to like talk about it and go over it. And I'll show you everything and whatever. But during these 15-minute calls it's like your time, right? So it's your opportunity. So if you'd like to do that, all you have to do is go to freecallwithtish.com. I'm actually bringing this link back around. This is what I did my very first year of my coaching business. I had this link. If you go to freecallwithtish.com, you'll be able to schedule a call and hop on my calendar. My calendar is limited because even though I'm doing calls again, I'm still keeping my same work hours. So I haven't, I still go to the gym. I have a life, and the business is running without the phone calls. So it's not like I need to do calls all day. So the times are limited. I think right now there's like 2 more spots for Monday. But every day I open up new time. So if you go there and you don't see a time, just check back and then you should be able to find a time. There is an application because I do want to make sure that I actually can help you. If on your application, I realize that it's just not it's completely left field, like you sell essential oils or something like that, then I'll just contact you and cancel the call. But for the most part, if you're a coach, you want coaching clients and you want to reach 6 figures, go to freecallwithtish.com. Let's hop on a call. Okay. Would I suggest using Google Hangouts? Yeah, you can use Google Hangouts. The only thing I didn't like about that was I felt like Zoom was a lot more streamlined as far as the recording and all that stuff. 25 years old, making 50K at a hospital, ready to leave this career one day. Yeah, and you absolutely can. And I will tell you that the best feeling in my life came when I put myself on payroll. I gave myself a paycheck, not a transfer from the business account to my personal account. Literally, I get a direct deposit every 2 weeks. And it feels really good to see the direct deposit coming from Financial Success Media LLC, which is what I set up and I created and I built. And not only that, but I'm paying myself way more than any employer has ever paid me. And that felt really good. So whatever your income goal is, whatever it is that you want to create in your life, you can absolutely do it. All right. Other questions? Yes. I am touching and agreeing with you, Allison. I know that that is absolutely going to happen for you. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. I am live every single Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern, unless I'm not. What I do is I send out an email. So number one, if you're just here on YouTube, you can click the notification bell and it'll notify you when I'm live. Number two, if you're on my email list, you'll get an email saying, hey, I'm going live, and I'll tell you the topic and you'll be able to come ask your questions and whatnot. And if you have made a purchase and you're on my buyers list, then you'll also receive a text message. So the text will tell you right when I'm going live. That way you never miss a thing. The other thing that my buyers get is special last minute opportunities. So for example, if I have a call booked and it happens to be a no-show, usually I'll just text the list and I'll be like, hey, I have an open spot, go book it. And, you have an opportunity to, to grab that. Or sometimes I'll do special trainings just for buyers. So it's another great opportunity. So definitely you want to stay on the list. I don't send texts very often. It's like once a week. But if there's something special, I might send an extra one. Okay. All right. Last couple questions. What are other ways to track emails for potential clients besides ThriveCart? I use ConvertKit. So if you go to LaTishaStyles.com and scroll to the bottom, you'll see my list of marketing resources and tools that I use, and you'll see everything that I use to power my business. Okay. You don't have to figure out the how. That's what you hire for, right? All you need to know is what you want to do and why it's important to you. Then you find someone who's done it and they will give you the how. That's it. That's the solution. Okay. Check tomorrow because there should be some additional appointments opening tomorrow. I knew there was like 1 or 2 left, so somebody must have grabbed it. Okay. Good. Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much. Hey, Colette. I hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday, rest of your weekend. And if you didn't get a chance to book a call, but you do, just save the link. It's freecallwithtish.com. Come back to it. Do your application. I have spots all week. Okay. So just come back to it the next day. All right. Thanks so much for joining me. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm going to play kickball. Okay. Bye.